So I kind of lied when I said there wouldn't be any more 7 motorcycle myth videos. Well, gosh dang it, Papa Yam is back with 7 more myths. Just like the Bring It On cheerleader movies, we're back again to brought it on, bringing it in. Have you brought it back? Screw it. So this is even more things that you think are true about motorcycles but aren't. Fact, my last sentence was grammatically correct. You got a fact early in this video today. Don't forget that at Yammie Noob, 1 million subscribers means I'm going to buy a Turbo Hayabusa. We just crossed 500,000 subscribers, which is halfway to seeing yours truly sit on a turbocharged Hayabusa in short shorts, flip-flops, and every single hair on my body expertly trimmed by Manscaped, who coincidentally sponsored this video. Now, let's get into it. Number 1. The first thing you think are true but isn't is that racing tires are gonna make you faster. If you put racing tires on your 250, do you think you can finally hang with the leader bikes? No, no, and no. Racing tires only give back the traction that you've lost through street tires. They help to extract more of the bike's potential but don't add in performance on the streets and will definitely not increase your skill level. The tires are made for, well, racing. Sure, you can race on the streets, I don't advise that, but you'll never see the tire's true potentials because of bad pavement, lower temperatures, debris, water, and other factors. When race tires are used properly, they're warmed up and then used for their super sticky compound. On the streets, you'll wear through your compound faster than a condom on prom night. Didn't have that experience? Well, now you can buy a bike and you don't need a babysitter. Stay with the street tires and you'll live longer. Keep the race tires on the tracks where they'll perform the best. The second thing, and this is going to be controversial, is loud pipes save lives. This myth gets dispelled pretty quickly, and honestly, there's a lot to cover on this one, which is why we're going to have an entire video dedicated to it soon, but here's the rundown. Which way does your exhaust face? To the rear. Because the exhaust and engine noise are projected rearward on a motorcycle, it's difficult to hear an approaching motorcycle coming from behind you. Even if revving, the bike coming from behind won't be as loud as if it were next to you or in front of you. Even in a convertible, hearing the sound of a straight-piped Harley would be difficult. And I can already hear it coming. I can already see you scrolling down to the comment section and to start lighting it up. But Yammie, I was in traffic one time and I revved at someone and they got out of my way. So now, because of this one-time anecdote, your physics mean nothing to me. Nothing. The eternal cries of my people, the Yammie Noob commenters, will be heard echoing through the ages. Just like the full pipe on my Ninja 250. We will not back down. Gamers, rise up! So, loud pipes save lives. It's a cute saying to sell exhaust systems, and I tell you what, everyone loves a good slip-on or a $2,600 full Akrapovich exhaust system, but the truth is, your gear needs to be loud, not your pipes, and you need to ride defensively. When you look at today's sound, deadening, and noise-canceling technology in vehicles, the automotive industry is literally trying to keep the sound of your motorcycle from entering the passenger compartment of a car, which is really great. Honestly, nowadays, I love a super quiet, comfortable car. I don't want to be in some super loud box driving on the road. You should be wearing bright colors, even neon. Be loud and proud. Your orientation is up to you, but bright colors will save you better than those chrome pipes. Number 3 on today's list is 600cc's make terrible starter bikes. I'm going to get flamed for this one by one half of the internet and the other half is going to rejoice. If a Turbo Busa or a leader bike is a little too much for your first bike, consider a 600cc. When you're about to enter the world of Rossi-loving, knee-scraping, and mega-dank nooner-popping glory, a 300cc sport bike may not be the perfect fit. For the testosterone-filled baby yams, you might not have the maturity or fear of life yet, but for an older noob, do you really want to buy a 300cc? No. If your wife is going to let you buy one bike only, it kind of sounds like a terrible relationship, but whatever, it won't be worth the hassle to buy it, learn to ride, and then convince her it's time for an upgrade. Start with the 600 and let it be the bike you grow into safely. Fact. A second fact in this video, can you believe it? Suzuki, in all its squid missile producing prestige, has been putting rider modes on its Suzuki GSX R600 since 2008. Yamaha's R6 has had them since last year, while other manufacturers are following suit. These modes allow the rider to change fuel maps and throttle response on the fly. How much they do has been debatable since day one, but for most beginners, jumping on a Gixxer 600 with rider modes has been easier to learn on than a bike without them. Theoretically, the modes will cut power by almost half, giving the bike the throttle response of a 400cc or smaller engine bike. It all comes down to maturity, determination, and respect for the motorcycle. You could start on a Grom and crash into a car the next day if you really wanted to do that. If someone was patient enough, they could start on a leader bike. Not everyone is going to die on a bike that says it's too fast. Consider your comfort level and your own responsibility, then choose the starter bike that fits you. Now, a point I'd like to make, even though it is possible to start on a 600 and you will be able to ride on the street and not kill yourself, the whole point of motorcycling, in my humble opinion, is to treat it as a lifelong craft. 600s are dedicated tools for very specific jobs, and if your goal is to learn how to ride, then you'll be much better off with a better tool for that job. It's like trying to learn how to drive a car by putting someone in a Le Mans prototype. Can they do it? Sure. Is it recommended? Probably not. Now, if you're interested in the whole 300 or 600 as a starter bike rigmarole, I made an entire video going into it in extreme length and detail about that topic. Here's a card for that. Number 4, young riders are at a higher fatality risk. So you want a squid on your 15-year-old leader bike at the age of 24? Factually speaking, the young squids and yams on crotch rockets are more likely to survive than their older middle-aged cruiser and touring bike counterparts. I already did a video on the 7 essential tips for motorcycle safety, where we covered why the middle-aged midlife crisis guy is going to rush out, buy a bigger bike that he doesn't need, drink, ride, and then die. If you haven't, you should check out that video. The myth of young riders dying is made up by worried mothers. Sport bike riders are probably 100 times more likely to speed, wheelie, and do all other sorts of shenanigans on the streets. The difference is that sport bike riders wear full-face helmets and normally understand their limits a little bit better. You might only see the rider on the highway doing a wheelie at 100 miles per hour, but not know he practiced in parking lots for half a year. The street Rossis also do it sober. Statistics from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration support our claims that squids are less likely to die. Accidents with smaller bikes involve less alcohol. It takes a certain kind of irrational thinking to drink and ride. Older riders have a false sense of tolerance and maturity to conclude that riding after drinking is okay. In my opinion, it doesn't matter how much alcohol is consumed by your baby yam, you should always get a ride home from someone sober if you're on a bike. Now, one myth that persists in this great nation is the idea that young men don't take care of themselves and only play video games all day. I will have you know that here at Yammie Noob, we completely buck that trend, and all of our sweet subscribers have picked up a perfect package from Manscaped. I'll be damned if my sweet followers are neck-bearded neats who don't take care of themselves. You must ascend to the aerodynamic and beautiful version of yourself I know you can be. Here is the deal, my dudes. 8 in 10 partners prefer someone who is trimmed. It's more hygienic, and I'll tell you what, it just feels nicer if you're taking a shower, which you should be doing. Why aren't you showering? If you don't know, Manscaped made the world's first no-nick ceramic bladed shaver for your downstairs trimming, and they are so confident in their product, they now have a 30-day nick your sack, send it back guarantee for you. For a limited time, my subscribers are going to get 20% off their entire order by using the code YAMMIE20 at checkout. That's our new code, so if you've seen some of our older videos and it was YAM20, make sure to use the code YAMMIE20 now. Yammie20, here it is on the screen. But it doesn't end there. If you sign up for the subscription package, you will get 25% savings instantly as opposed to just buying their products. So do us both a favor, because Manscaped does help keep the lights on around here. Click the link below for me. Use the code YAMMIE20 at checkout. Make sure your body looks like a tightly trimmed little kiwi fruit all over. Now, let's see the other things you think are true but aren't. Number 5, all helmets offer the same protection. Another factor concerning sport bike squids versus middle-aged riders of Harleys comes the helmet debate. It's actually not a debate. All helmets do not offer the same level of protection. A full face helmet will offer the most protection in any crash, while 3/4 and half helmets will offer significantly less. Most crashes involve impacts to the very part of the face not protected by other helmets, the chin and the nose. Icon released a helmet in 2014 with crash statistics on its side, an homage to how they've protected customers, but also a slap in the face literally to those wearing helmets with no chin or face protection. Forget what people tell you, forget how goofy you think you might look on a bike, get a full-faced helmet. Squids have them, I have them, you should have it too. A full-faced helmet is a requirement in my opinion. Number 6, it's safer to ride on the streets than on the interstate. For the love of Rossi, this is another one of those myths your mom tells you to ride slow or keep you off the bikes altogether. Statistically speaking, most accidents occur at speeds under 55 miles per hour and on roads not considered highway. The roads which you navigate around town will pose the highest danger to you because people are blindly backing out of driveways, running red lights, texting while driving, etc. Highways are comprised of traffic moving in the same direction, with most drivers having the intent of going fast. It's therefore easier as a motorcyclist to maintain the same direction as traffic and not be concerned about side streets, construction, stop and go, and other scenario. I'm not saying the highway is the safest place, but it is actually safer than those other roads. The highway still has its dangers such as semi-trucks, people merging onto the highway, and even wildlife. The highways were built for faster riding and have better road conditions. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration published a study that showed 91% of all crashes between a motorcycle and a passenger vehicle occurred on non-interstate roadways, and that nearly 6 out of 10 two-vehicle motorcycle crashes occurred on urban roadways. Moral of the story, interstates are actually safer for motorcyclists than that beautiful country road. This is the same school of thought behind why track day riding is actually much safer than normal street riding. Even though you're going quickly and leaning it hard and going fast, if you're all going in the same direction, everything is predictable and you're taking the same corners over and over again and you know exactly what's coming up, it's way safer than the streets. Now, our final item for today's list, number 7, big bikes are good for beginners. Last on our list of myths, we have big bikes are good for beginners. I'm not just talking about engine size, but also the weight of the bike. As a new rider, your focus should be on learning and retaining new skills that's going to keep you alive. Your last concern should be fighting against the weight of a motorcycle as you try to venture outside of parking lots and onto the streets. Perhaps you're a soon-to-be divorced man and you're looking at getting a bike in your mid-40s. I congratulate you on entering the world of motorcycling, but you shouldn't assume your age or size is a good reason why you should forego getting a smaller bike. Jumping on an 800-pound Honda Goldwing and taking a cross-country discovery tour is ill-advised until you get real riding experience and work your way into the weight of the bike. Your age is not a substitute for years in the saddle. Your 2 basic rules of weight are: 1, you must be able to bring the bike upright by yourself. 2, you must be able to pick it up if you drop it. Remember that not all drops are equal. Some will include the bike being entirely off its tires and on its side, making the bike the heaviest. If tires contact the ground, you'll have an easier task of picking it up. Now, most dealerships or individual sellers aren't going to let you lay their bikes down just to see if you can pick them up or not, but some places do have pads you can use for this. If not, try Googling how much the bike you're interested in weighs. Check out videos on YouTube for tips and tricks on how to properly lift your bike into an upright position. Dan the Fireman actually has a great video on this if you want to go and check it out. He sacrificed his bike and dropped it on the ground for all to see how he picks it up. Even if the weight is above what you'd normally lift at the gym, you'd be surprised at how much weight you can move using proper techniques. So, that's going to wrap it up today from me to you, my sweet squids. Thanks for tuning in and subscribing. We're going to end the year with a bang in terms of our giveaway motorcycles and our promotions and all kinds of cool stuff, which if you haven't seen yet, click the links below and learn how you can get started with those. Thanks again to Manscaped for supporting the channel. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Fact: in order to run around the world, if you ran a marathon of 42.2 kilometers per day, you'd be done in 2.5 years. Get to running. Goodbye.